Greetings. Thank you for joining me today, and hope wherever you are, life is treating you well. Now, this one goes out to anyone in the customer service industry, whatever customer service you are providing, whether it's outbound calls or inbound calls. There are things in common with both approaches. And I think we should all learn to front load our calls. And by that I mean we should learn to make sure that whatever you are doing, whether you're making an outbound call or whether you're taking an inbound call, the first couple of minutes of that call are as profitable to the person you're talking to as possible. So their time isn't wasted, essentially. So if you take the example of someone who's taking payments from clients, client calls in and you've gone them through identification, and then you say, how can I help? And they will tell you at that point how they think you can help or what they want to do. They'll say, I want to make a payment and talk about the remaining balance because we've got problems, blah, blah, blah. Now, before you let them ramble on and tell you about all the problems, you say, oh, that's cool. Take ownership of the call, of course. And you say, well, let's just take your payment first of all. Then we've got something on the page for you, and then we'll go from there. Now, in so doing, you are making sure that the first couple of minutes of that call are valuable to you or your business, and it's valuable to them because they'll feel like they made some progress. They'll have made a payment. And then, of course, you bang in the notes and make sure that if the call should drop at that point, and I'm not saying it should, you know what I mean. Okay, if the call should drop at that point, they will have felt that their time is not wasted. So if they have a problem with their telephony provider and the call does drop, they won't be frustrated and feel like their time has been wasted at all. They'll just call back, and then it's a shorter call because they'll say, I just made a call, made a payment, I need to talk about the remaining balance, and they'll go from there. And that's when you make the most of the first couple of minutes of that call by asking them, what's the problem? And you make notes and so on and so forth. Every single time you have that interaction with the customer or potential customer, you're making notes that drive future service. That way they're not having to repeat themselves. I believe that's the way we drive good customer service and then drive value and in turn drive sales and so on. You don't always see this though. This is a problem. And in my industry and in so many others I've been in, I see new recruits come to work and they don't know how to approach their first call or first number of calls. And they go through a sticky set of identification questions and what's he calling about. It's like playing that game, Guess Who, have they got a hat? Have they got a tie? Have they got a beard and so on? You're just dancing around a problem when you could really say, how can I help? And they will just tell you. And you can decide from what they tell you, you can decide where you want to go, whether you want to take that call on or whether they're in the wrong place. It's as simple as that. Now, of course, part of front-loading a call is being yourself or a version of yourself. Now, and we don't always take the real, true version of ourselves to work because for a lot of us, we might be the shy and retiring type. We might not want to be friendly. When someone calls in and says, how are you? Oh, goodness gracious. A lot of us want to crawl into a pit. Don't ask how we are. We crawled out of bed, we had a long commute, the day's just trying. We're not going to go there. We're going to be the version of ourselves that the customer wants to hear. I'm good. How are you? Bounce it straight back. If you do that, because they only ask that question to put you on the back foot. If you do that, they're going to go, oh, fine, and we move on, keeping the process flowing, and you are making sure that call is as short as possible. Because in thousands of calls where that has happened to me, and I'd say, I'm fine, how are you? It's never gone further than that. Don't worry, it's just a nicety. You know what I would like to see the end of, though, is when I'm getting a spam call, and it is generally spam callers, these unsolicited sales calls from spam callers, people pretending to be my telecoms provider, my mobile phone provider, and say, I'm calling from whatever, and first thing I'll say is, no, you're not. But if I don't say anything, they always start with, how are you today? Don't start a sales call by asking me how I am. You're eating yourself wide open. I will normally, to be polite, say nothing, cut the call. I'll just say no and cut the call. But if you say, how are you, you do leave yourself open as a sales caller to someone giving you an earful, and believe me, the creative will come up with some awful things to say. Oh, job's done, there's blood everywhere, but the job's done, so I guess we'll move on with the day now. Things like that, things that leave you wondering. So no, don't start that sales call with how are you. Goodness gracious, no. Ugh. No, we've got to focus on what's required to get the job done efficiently. Be yourself, of course, but these sort of small talks, when somebody's calling to talk business, honestly, it is better to keep away from the small talk as much as possible. We're trying to make sure that they feel like they're being listened to first of all, rather than just a quick back and forth. Yeah, there are sort of customers that do need that, but most people just wanted to get quick in there, do the business. Yeah, if they want to have a conversation after that, fine, but we are aiming to make sure that their time is well spent with you. So what we're aiming for, we're aiming to sound friendly, helpful, and friendly and helpful are not the same thing. That's two different things, and you know it. Insightful, if you're listening to them, we're given 2 ears and 1 mouth in that ratio. You're supposed to listen more than you talk. If you listen, and people will tell you things, if you sound willing to listen, they will tell you more. If you do that, if you listen, then you can provide insightful comments back and drive the conversation forward. If someone tells you what they need and a whole bunch of other things besides, you can use that to make a sale, to take a payment, to do whatever it is you need to do. And therefore you will be more profitable and their time will feel better spent. And finally, it's about not sounding fake, which is why we've got to bring a version of ourselves to work rather than sounding like a robot and running through the questions. Don't ask unnecessary questions. Make it seem like you're there, like you're listening, like you're paying attention. So we have quite a few unnecessary questions asked in the place I'm currently working. People will call in, and rather than asking, what can I do for you? How can I help? People will say, can I have your reference number? Are you calling for yourself? Are you calling on your own behalf? Goodness. See, the thing is, if you ask, how can I help, first of all, people go, I'm calling about my bill. I'm calling about my grandmother's bill. I'm calling about my wife's bill. Whatever it is, but people will tell you. You won't have to ask all these questions to identify and circle about what's required. And questions should follow on logically, not being repetitive. If someone sounds like they're driving, you might want to ask, are you driving at the moment? I kind of want you to be focused on the call and safe. Are you driving? But if it's all quiet in the background and they're calling on a landline, obviously you're not going to ask that question. But some people's scripts will have you ask the same question regardless. Are you driving? No, in the bath. No, I'm in the kitchen. And again, the call's longer than it needs to be. I'd sound like a broken record saying these things, but the hope is when I put a video out there like this, that someone in my industry or in a close industry sees it, and tomorrow when we go back to work, they start their next call in a sensible way and they don't sound like a robot. And every time you do that, every time you bring a little of yourself to work rather than sounding like yet another AI, we drive the value of our customer service up in the world and make it harder and harder, at least from the customer's point of view, harder and harder to accept the AI substitute. Whatever you do, anyway, thank you for listening. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye for now.